The big issue that I obviously have to talk about is that the first chance that Penn State had the ball to go and win the game, Allar blows it with the interception. We've seen this too many times to be deja vu. This is a legitimate problem, a mental wall that he's been unable to overcome. The last 3 losses now that Penn State have had has been because of a Drew Allar interception on a potential game-winning drive. That's an issue. At the same time, I can look at that and say, that's one thing then that you can pinpoint and say, wow, if we stop throwing interceptions on game-winning drives, we might win games. The issue is now that it's happened 3 times, and twice to Oregon. And I don't see tons of reasoning to believe now that Drew Allar can do that until he does. It's really that simple, because we know he's talented enough. We saw how well he played in that comeback. He's able to put the ball in the end zone when it matters. Except for right there, the very first chance he got with the ball to win the game, that's what happens. And yeah, that overturned fumble was huge. There were 2 fumbles actually, one of which was an easy recovery in overtime. That could have just ended the game if it bounced over to a Penn State guy instead of back to Moore. And I also want to credit Moore again. He didn't pull a Cam Newton. He went down there and jumped on the ball and sacrificed his body for the game. If he just stands there, Whittington wasn't getting it. So that was a crucial play in overtime that kept Oregon in it. But the other one was completely up in the air and controversial. I understand both sides of it. I don't understand how there was enough evidence to overturn the call on the field. If it was called down on the field, I think it should have been upheld. If it was called a fumble on the field, which it was, I think it should have been upheld. I don't know how you can tell from a camera angle all the way across the field with blurry look, and you're looking at blades of grass, and you can say with conclusive evidence that he was down. And an absolutely crucial play. It goes from gifting Oregon 7 points to what would have been Penn State getting the ball past the 50-yard line, their best field position of the day. Huge swing, and most importantly, that really took the energy out of the stadium. That was the huge momentum play that Penn State needed, getting a stop towards the goal line. And instead, it was completely flipped on its head. And then Oregon went and scored 2 touchdowns quickly after that. The crowd was deflated, to say the least. And obviously, Penn State figured out how to get back in the game. But that call completely ruined their momentum in that game. And then I want to talk about what this game means for Penn State, right? I could sit here and yap all day about things that Penn State could have done better and issues with the play calling and issues with this and that. In terms of as a whole, if you want to blame somebody, I don't know if there's any one particular person you can blame in this game. It's certainly not James Franklin. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, Franklin lost another big one, he needs to be fired. That's a really bad take. Not a lot of thought put into that one. I've seen some people blaming Knowles, of all people. He gave up 17 points in regulation to maybe the best offense in the country. Maybe rethink that take. If you want to blame Coach Kotelnicki for scoring 3 points in the first half, that's fine. I'm with that. The offensive game plan certainly could have been better. The offensive line played like crap in the first half. Maybe you could blame them. Nick Singleton couldn't run the ball very much. He still had some sort of impact. Like I say he didn't run the ball much, but some of his runs were like crucial 4th down runs where, yeah, he only got like 2 yards, but he picked up the 2 yards we needed for a first down. So again, I don't think you can blame him for losing the game. Obviously, if you want to blame Drew Allar, I could get behind that, but he's also the guy that got you back into the game, played some ridiculously good football there in the 4th quarter. People saying that you might have won the game with Bo Pribula. I don't know if Bo Pribula is even in that situation, right? I love Bo. I think he's a really good quarterback who's going to do amazing things with Missouri. I don't know if you're even in a tie game in the fourth quarter if you have Bo Pribula. It's tough to say whether he's able to even get there.